The birth of a nation is rarely marked by a single dramatic moment. Instead, it's a slow, deliberate process, building institutions, securing borders, and providing services long before the world takes notice. Recognition isn't a gift, it's an acknowledgement of a reality painstakingly built on the ground. History shows that new states prove themselves through effective self-governance and reliability, not just declarations. When international bodies like the World Bank begin engaging with an unrecognized territory, it signals a shift from isolation to practical partnership. Somaliland, a self-declared republic in the Horn of Africa, has maintained peace and stability for over 3 decades. Its recent meeting with the World Bank is not a random event, it's a calculated engagement with immense significance. These discussions focus on the mechanics of running a modern economy, not abstract politics. When the World Bank treats Somaliland as a serious partner, it's a powerful acknowledgement of de facto statehood. This is where the real story of state-building unfolds in the unglamorous but essential work of governance. For Somaliland, this meeting is a crack in the wall of international silence, a sign that its reality is becoming impossible to ignore. The question now is not if the world will engage with Somaliland, but how far this engagement will go. The World Bank is more than a lender. It's a gatekeeper to the global economic system. Its involvement signals to investors and governments that a territory is stable and credible. Before private corporations invest, they look for the World Bank's stamp of approval. The bank's rigorous assessments, like the Public Expenditure and Financial Accountability Review, are reserved for places with real potential. For Somaliland, being considered for such an assessment is a monumental step. The World Bank's engagement is a form of economic diplomacy, operating in a gray area that builds capacity without formal recognition. This practical involvement creates facts on the ground that politicians can't ignore. The bank's decision to meet Somaliland officials elevates its status from breakaway region to potential development partner. This isn't charity, it's an acknowledgement of Somaliland's capacity and stability. The World Bank's involvement can unlock aid, attract investment, and strengthen Somaliland's case as a responsible actor. Somaliland's story is one of self-built democracy in a tough neighborhood. After breaking from Somalia in 1991, Somaliland established its own government, currency, and army, holding peaceful, democratic elections. Yet no country formally recognizes it, leaving Somaliland in political limbo. Despite isolation, it's built peace and stability from the ground up, relying on its own resources and diaspora. Its achievements are not the result of foreign intervention, but homegrown governance. The World Bank meeting is not a handout, it's overdue acknowledgement of Somaliland's reality. For Somalilanders, this is validation of decades of resilience and self-reliance. The World Bank has a playbook for engaging with territories in political limbo. Its mandate, economic development, lets it focus on technical matters, even in unrecognized states. Before formal recognition, the bank often provides technical assistance and capacity building, not direct loans. It helps set up central banks, tax systems, and transparent financial management. Trust funds, like the Somaliland Multi-Partner Fund, allow the bank to support projects without violating its charter. The recent high-level meeting signals a move from small projects to systemic financial architecture. This support helps territories prove their viability and manage resources to international standards. It de-risks the territory for future investment and recognition. The World Bank builds the case for statehood through economics and good governance. Somaliland's meeting with the World Bank wasn't just symbolic, it was about real state functions. Discussions focused on public financial management reforms, financial sector development, and integration into the global system. A new public expenditure and financial accountability assessment would benchmark Somaliland's institutions against global standards. A positive outcome would validate Somaliland's governance for investors and partners. Talks also addressed modernizing the financial sector, crucial for trade, investment, and remittances. The World Bank's expertise could help Somaliland shift from a cash base to a digital economy. These are peer-level dialogues, not humanitarian aid. The World Bank is treating Somaliland as a government with agency and responsibility. This is practical recognition of a state that exists, even if the world hesitates to say so. The World Bank's engagement doesn't equal formal diplomatic recognition. Only nations can grant that, and no country has changed its stance on Somaliland's sovereignty. The political barriers remain high, especially with the African Union's position on borders. But dismissing this meeting as insignificant misses the point. Somaliland is quietly accumulating economic legitimacy, a powerful form of recognition. By engaging on state building, the World Bank endorses Somaliland's institutions. Economic legitimacy can create momentum for future political recognition. Think of it as two tracks. Political recognition is stalled, but economic integration is accelerating. The World Bank's involvement signals to investors that Somaliland is credible. More investment leads to more development, strengthening Somaliland's case for statehood. Somaliland is building its state from the inside out, earning its place through competence. The World Bank's engagement is a milestone, validation that money alone can't buy. The World Bank's engagement with Somaliland is driven by shifting regional dynamics. The Horn of Africa and Red Sea are now arenas of global competition, with major powers vying for influence. Somaliland's stable coastline and the recent Ethiopia deal have raised its profile. The Ethiopia-Somaliland agreement, offering sea access in exchange for potential recognition, forced the world to pay attention. The World Bank's meeting is partly a response to these new realities. Somaliland's homegrown stability stands in stark contrast to southern Somalia's struggles. Policymakers now see Somaliland as an opportunity, not just a risk. The World Bank wants to support this model of stability and good governance. Somaliland's persistent diplomacy is finally bearing fruit. Its democratic credentials are too consistent to ignore. The World Bank's engagement is the logical next step, accelerated by urgent geopolitics. The World Bank's engagement with Somaliland will ripple across the Horn of Africa. Somalia's government will likely protest, seeing it as a threat to its authority. This could strain Somalia's ties with international institutions, but it may also push Mogadishu to reform. Somaliland's progress sets a new standard for governance in the region. Ethiopia sees validation for its outreach. Djibouti faces new competition as Berbera rises. A stable Somaliland could become a key partner against terrorism and piracy. The old political order is being challenged. The World Bank's actions are quietly redrawing the region's strategic map. After this pivotal World Bank engagement, Somaliland faces three possible futures. First, creeping recognition, more international bodies and countries engage, leading to eventual formal recognition. Second, permanent ambiguity. Somaliland thrives economically but remains unrecognized, like Taiwan. Third, regional backlash. Somalia and its allies push back, risking renewed conflict and instability. The challenge for the world is to manage Somaliland's rise without sparking new tensions. The World Bank meeting has fundamentally changed the landscape. Somaliland's position is stronger, and new possibilities are open. A functioning democratic state now stands on the Gulf of Aden. The question is no longer whether Somaliland exists. It's how the world will choose to exist with it. As the world debates Somaliland's future from afar, the real story unfolds on the bustling streets of Hargeisa. Here, in the heart of Somaliland's capital, shopkeepers, students, and elders gather in cafes and markets, hoping their voices will finally be heard beyond their borders. For many, the World Bank's engagement brings a cautious optimism, a chance for more jobs, better schools, and access to global markets. Yet, beneath the hope, there is uncertainty. Some fear that sudden change could disrupt the fragile peace they've built over decades. Others worry about being caught between powerful neighbors and shifting alliances, but above all, there is pride. Pride in a peaceful democracy carved from adversity and in a resilient identity that has endured, recognized or not. For Somalilanders, the future is not just a matter of international politics, it's about dignity, opportunity, and the hope that, someday soon, the world will see them as they see themselves, as a nation. Somaliland's journey, shaped by determination and defined by resilience, is far from over. As the dust settles on the latest diplomatic overtures and the world's gaze shifts to new headlines, life in Somaliland continues, steady, defiant, and forward-looking. For its people, the quest for recognition is more than a headline or a policy debate. It is a daily pursuit, building schools with limited resources, launching businesses against the odds, and nurturing a sense of unity in the face of uncertainty. Each small victory, every new classroom, every thriving market stall serves as an act of self-affirmation, a quiet declaration that Somaliland's story will not be written by others. Yet, the path ahead is uncertain. International recognition may come slowly, in fits and starts, or perhaps not at all. But the people of Somaliland have learned to measure progress not only by the world's acknowledgement, but by the strength of their institutions, the vibrancy of their communities, and the dreams they dare to pursue. As the sun sets over Hargeisa, one thing is clear: the long road ahead is theirs to walk, and the future, whatever it holds, will be shaped by the hopes, determination, and unyielding spirit of Somalilanders themselves. As Somaliland's story unfolds, it offers lessons that reach far beyond its borders. In a world where old certainties are falling away and new challenges reshape the global order, Somaliland stands as a testament to the power of local agency and perseverance. Its experience challenges us to rethink the meaning of statehood, legitimacy, and belonging in the 21st century. For other aspiring nations and unrecognized territories, Somaliland's journey is both a beacon and a cautionary tale. A reminder that the path to recognition is rarely linear, and that the substance of nationhood is forged in the everyday acts of its people. For international policymakers, it poses difficult questions about when to engage, how to support, and what true partnership looks like in a rapidly changing world. Ultimately, Somaliland's resilience invites us all to consider a deeper truth that the legitimacy of a nation is not always granted from above, but earned from within. As new chapters are written, both in Somaliland and elsewhere, the world will watch and perhaps learn from the quiet strength of those who refuse to be defined by borders alone. As the final pages of Somaliland's current story turn, one thing remains certain: its future is still unwritten. In the quiet streets of Hargeisa, on the bustling trade routes that cross its borders, and in the determined hearts of its people, possibility lingers. The world may hesitate, but Somaliland moves forward, step by step, forging connections, building institutions, and redefining what it means to belong. For the international community, Somaliland's journey is a call to imagination and empathy. A prompt to look beyond documents and declarations and see the lived realities on the ground. The coming years may bring recognition, deeper isolation, or entirely new forms of engagement. But whatever path unfolds, Somaliland's story reminds us that the map of the future is not drawn solely by the powerful, but also by those who dare to dream in the margins. As Somaliland stands on the threshold of tomorrow, its people face uncertainty with courage and hope. Their voices echo a simple truth: the right to shape one's destiny is universal. In a world in flux, that may be the most powerful lesson of all.